Welcome back to more Persona 2 Eternal Punishment. So last time, we finished up Mount Iwato, we got a new party member Tatsuya, and then we talked to him a lot. So yeah, but we didn't get to battle with him though. That's because, that's what we're going to be talking about right now. Because, I want to talk about both Tatsuya and the ultimate zones that, he's going to help us make use of. So anyway, let's get some base out of the way. So Tatsuya, his weapon of choice is swords, and the same ones as Nanjo's, so you did pick up the Aishu Masamune like I did, you can just give him that. You can obviously give him a magic sword if you want him to be better at using his dex stats, so there's that. In terms of stats though, this can depend obviously because of the Dara transfer, but generally speaking, Tatsuya is very well balanced, focusing a bit more on strength, but his other stats are not far behind at all. All only a few points behind. Even his luck is lowest stat is still pretty solid as well. So Tatsuya again, like I kinda recommend building him in this season, you do want to go like a mix attacking route, so and that kind of shows with how his stat spread looks like in this game. Although, I guess there's one important thing I should mention. Despite the fact that, he was the main character in his ascent, only Maya gets the privilege to choose what stats she gets on level. Tatsuya does not. So the game is going to level up his stats on his own, unlike in his ascent. So that's good to know. Before we get, the broken stuff out of the way with Tatsuya, let's talk about his VAs. For the English dub in the PS1 version, it was Kim Strauss. A lot of people like to make fun of this voice for him, but it's not like the worst thing in the world. I think the main problem is just the direction. Because, there's just a lot of line deliveries that just sound very off. And the reason why people like to make fun of this voice a lot, so we'll get into that later. But anyway, for this version, because we're doing the Japanese dub, it's Takehito Kuyasu. So, now let's talk about let's get into the broken stuff about Tatsuya. So, Tatsuya normally starts out as a level 55 character. It's actually still pretty good because it's kind of hard to get to level 55 at this point. I was actually higher level than I was in my last playthrough, but I was only low 50s, like around level 52. So, So Tatsuya would give me like a bump in level, allow me to use a few more personas, which is very nice. But of course, you can definitely take this to the extreme with the Dara transfer. So one of the main things about the Dara transfer is that Tatsuya will carry over his level and his stats exactly. So in our case, Tatsuya's level 88, so now we can use personas that are level 93 or lower. If you were to get him to level 94, he could use any persona. So there's that. And he has cap stats in everything because because of the Dart transfer, it means that you are very incentivized to give every stat boost you can to Tatsuya. So there's that. So it means that Tatsuya helps us get personas that are much higher level than us, and his stats are basically Maya but just better. Although Maya can definitely make an impact with equipment and some personas, but Tatsuya though, he is a mixed attacker through, and that stat line is definitely gonna help him out a lot with that. So So not only you didn't get the others from doing Dark Transfer that are quite useful, Tatsuya becomes quite the powerhouse. Maybe one of the most powerful Persona characters with a very optimal Dark Transfer like this. It's hard to say because Persona protagonists nowadays are just so overpowered eventually, but of course Tatsuya just starts out overpowered when you think about it like that, so it's a bit hard to compare, but the fact that Tatsuya can allow your other party members to get really strong too, though, I feel like that has to be something you need to keep in mind when comparing them. So So again, Tatsuya's just amazing. We're definitely going to be taking advantage of his high power a lot. And it does seem that if there's like a threat you need to take care of, then Tatsuya, because of his mixed attacking capabilities, he's one of the best equipped for the role. So But anyway, with that done, how about we talk about his arcanas now? So he's great with Full, Sun, World, Cup and Sword, and then he's good with Emperor, Chariot, Justice, Hangman, Moon, Rod and Coin. He's not good with too much, but he's not bad with anything at least. Any of these arcanas aren't too bad. there definitely feels like there's a focus on physical attacking, but of course he is pretty good with magic as well. A lot of these Arcanas have pretty good magical attackers as well, so he can definitely do that if he really need to. So yeah, and considering our one stats, yeah, he could definitely do that. But anyway, his main Arcana obviously is the Sun Arcana, and he's also the Leo Zodiac sign. The Sun Arcana represents happiness, success, optimism, vitality, joy, confidence, happiness, and truth. And then in reverse, it represents blocked happiness, excessive enthusiasm, pessimism, unrealistic expectations, and concernedness. Now more than ever, Tatsuya really shows the negative side to the Sun Arcana as he finds it difficult to find positive aspects now and is over optimistic on his abilities to change the world by taking on everyone up on taking everyone all on his own up until now. However, while he doesn't like to show it, he does radiate love and affection towards those he cares about by not getting involved in his business since he cares about them and wants to make sure they are safe. So yeah. You can definitely make a case for the fact that yeah, Tatsuya is of the reverse Sun Arcana previously, mainly because yeah, you can definitely see that there's a lot of depression with the events that happen with the arson attack and Tatsuya Pseudo. Yeah, this game, yeah, it just really shows it. And yeah, especially if you know what Tatsuya has been through in this game, which yeah, Lone Shadows definitely helped with that, and also this game as well, going through Mount Hyoto, so yeah. But it's nice to see that there are still some positive aspects. Again, he might seem like, he's trying to push away Maya and stuff, but that's because, yeah, he does care deeply for Maya. He doesn't want to see Maya get hurt in all of this. So, yeah, that's why he does that. That's also why, yeah, he does act the way he does towards his previous friends, too, because, yeah, he doesn't want them to, remember things and cause the end of the world. So, yeah. But anyway, now we talked about that. Let's talk about the persona. And yeah, this is the same persona he had at the end of Innocent Sin, Apollo, one of the 12 Olympians of both Greek and Roman mythology. He was originally associated with art such as music and poetry, but later became the god of the sun, which is why he's of the Sun Arcana. He is the son of Zeus and Leto and twin brother of Artemis, showing that he and Maya have a close bond, and it stays that way even now. He would overshadow Helios as god of the sun, which could represent the strained relationship between Katsuya and Tatsuya. And yeah, Tatsuya still keeps the Zippoliter around, although this one is different than the one in Insta-Sim, but does show that Tatsuya still wants to honor the memory of his friend Jun, and this can be thing with Apollo keeping the lyre and giving it to his son or ward, Orpheus. So yeah. So not too much different there, but yeah, I did think that the comparison between Katsu and Tatsuya is very interesting considering Katsu's alter persona as well. But anyway, Apollo is interesting to talk about because if you played Lone Shadow, which we did, you kind of already have an idea of what he's about. And yeah, the ranks that you do get in Lone Shadow also transfer to the main game, so he already has max rank. Now all he needs to do is get his mutation skill, but yeah, it's a pretty good one as well. But we can obviously, go for the other skills, obviously. Akidan and Marakidan are obviously his fire skills, and they can be very useful for fusion spells. Definitely Marakidan, though, in that case. Gigantic Fist is good because having more physical attacks can never hurt. And of course, Tatsuya is going to be very good at using physical attacks. The card is very niche, but hey, if an enemy does buff up, it's not too bad. Frailer is kind of weird to have at this point, but hey, it is multi-target, which is definitely not a bad thing. So there's that. And of course, nuclear spells aren't too bad. And then finally, his exclusive skill, Nova Kaiser, or as it was called in the PS1 version, Nova Cypher, which is kind of weird. Spell. It's only single target, but its damage is some of the best for a non-fusion spell. So yeah, not too bad of a choice if you don't want to use fusion spells with Tatsuya. This can definitely be one of his most damaging options. But then, of course, there's the mutation skill, a pretty important one, in Heat Geyser. So Heat Geyser can actually be fused with a nuke skill and more Maya skill to make Nuclear Crush, which, yeah, we saw how good Thunder Crush was. Nuclear Crush is even stronger than that, so yeah, that can never be one thing we work towards with Tatsuya, so yeah. And yeah, being Tatsuya's ultimate persona in this game too, It means that he has access to another Venus spell, but we'll talk about that one later. So yeah. And yeah, as for what he returns for, I guess actually we'll go over resistances first. They're not the best. He does have 2 weaknesses, but he does null fire, nuke and light. He does resist dark. Unfortunately, he's not immune to it anymore. And yeah, nulls never mind, which is a 2-pet either. So yeah, they're alright resistances, but definitely not the best thing in the world. And again, his stats are definitely solid, especially if we do decide to keep using him and keep giving him stat up mutations. So there's that. And finally, he returns for a Frailer card, which yeah, I definitely would not recommend. So essentially, because we did get a Freydine card recently. So yeah, that is Tatsuya. And oh boy, yeah, Tatsuya is certainly something, and his Persona 2 is also very solid too. You definitely want to keep around Apollo. Apollo's just really solid, even if, yeah, there are definitely some other fun Personas for Tatsuya to use. Like Rochana comes to mind. Apollo is still, like, really decent. And his notable aspects, like, Nova Kaiser and his special fusion skill, not just Heat Kaiser, yeah, we'll definitely want to show that in action, so yeah. And again, Apollo, yeah, he is a really cool ultimate persona with Tatsuya too as well. So yeah. So Tatsuya, very strong character. He has a very good ultimate persona on his side. He's definitely gonna be one of, if not our best character up to this point, so yeah. Yeah. But that done, yeah, like I said though, thanks to Tatsuya's really high level, that's not all I want to talk about today. I also want to talk about the ultimate personas because yeah, at this point you can start using them. I'm not so sure if I want to use them right away, considering what we're going to be talking about now, but that's okay. So let's talk about our characters' ultimate personas. Now let's talk about our other five members' ultimate personas. So yeah, we're going to be starting off with our main character Maya and Artemis. So let's talk a little bit about how these ultimate personas work in this game. So in Mount Iwato, we got the items that allowed us to fuse them, which means that yeah, we can actually just get the ultimate personas whenever you want. There is another interesting catch with this. It means that yeah, we are able to inherit a skill of our choice with a skill card, and also give them a stat boost card too. The latter is a lot more easier because I mostly like to give all cards to all these personas because yeah, I do like them to have, good stats and everything. Considering that yeah, they're going to be quite multi-purpose, and also some of them are mixed attackers too, so I'm going to have to help with that as well. So yeah, the other one though, the skill, that can be interesting because yeah, it can definitely depend on how you want to build these personas too. Whether you want it to be more offensive or more geared towards support, considering that yeah, we do have quite a lot of options when it comes to skill cards in this game. So yeah. Anyway, out of the way, I will talk about what skills I like to get these personas to when we chat about this. So yeah. So without further ado, let's get started and talk about Artemis. So Artemis is the virgin goddess of the hunt, childbirth, and the moon. She is one of the 12 Olympians, child of Zeus and Leto, along with her twin brother Apollo. Associated with the moon is why she is part of the Moon Arcana. With Artemis and Apollo being siblings, it shows that Tatsuya might have a very close bond. In fact, yeah, transcending worlds, kind of strong bond. Besides being a virgin goddess, scholars have linked Artemis to the archetype of the mother goddess, due to Artemis being linked to fertility and assisting women with childbirth. While Maya isn't a clear mother figure to the group like in Innocent Sin, those qualities are shared with Maya, showing lots of compassion to the other five members, as well as people in need. Artemis is well known for not being affected by Aphrodite's manipulations due to being a virgin goddess, and she was uninterested in men and instead spended time hunting with her female companions like Callisto, which could be a loose nod to Maya saying that she is married to her work, and her friendship with Lala, although this doesn't turn out sour like with the action Callisto, unless you want to count, Joker Lala, right? Artemis is designed seriously based on the spacesuits that were worn by astronauts of Apollo 11, with the mirrors in the design looking like the lunar module Eagle, which is used for the Apollo 11 mission. This can tie into Artemis being associated with the moon, as well as the Moon Arcana, and another reference to a sibling Apollo. So yeah. Again, she's not too different from her Innocent counterpart, but skill-wise, though, there is definitely a lot of interesting things going on, though. And that's the fact that, yeah, she mainly focuses on ice skills in this game. gain Ufudine, Absolute Zero, and Diamond Dust. Diamond Dust is the best, and it's a mutation skill as well. Especially considering that, yeah, that allows you to use Ice Crush, and yeah, that can do some pretty decent damage with Artemis. Especially if you do give it a good magic start. Outside of that, it's alright skills like Ignite Waves, putting enemies to sleep. The Aran is only single target healing, which isn't the best. But if you really want to, you can give it like Medea Rama, Medea Rahan, or even Contra if you want some group healing for Maya. That's also an option if you want to use Artemis defensively, considering that, yeah, she is well equipped for it. Considering that, yeah, she does have immunity to all magic, she reflects all magic, but is weak to physical as a result. So yeah, you can have build arms towards that. You could also obviously do this with other personas too, like maybe Isis, for example. So yeah. And of course, the last skill, this is a signature skill, Crescent Mirror. So Crescent Mirror is just an all-might attack that attacks all enemies. Its power is behind Megidolon and Asteroid Bomb, but it is stronger than Megidola at least, so it's alright. And again, having an all-might skill just in case could be quite nice if you want that for boon skills. So yeah, that's really all there is to say about her skill set. As for what skills like to give her, again, you can have be thinking about healing ones, but considering her good magic attack stat and the fact that we're using her on Maya, I wouldn't mind giving her like an offensive skill like Time, for example. That allows her to, be used with more things as well, which I think is very important. So yeah, again, choice is up to you. So that, yeah, there's definitely a lot of potential skill cards that you can give these personas. So yeah. Yeah, that's really everything I have to say about Artemis. Again, a very solid choice for Maya if you want a person that repels everything. She's also a very good ice user, probably one of Maya's best options for that, considering she does get Diamond Dust, so yeah. So there's a lot good going on Artemis. And again, repelling all magic is just really solid in this game, to be honest, considering that there's a lot of dangerous attacks that are magical, so being able to, stop them is definitely quite useful for Maya here. So yeah. So that's our first Ultra Persona. I mean, that's everything we have to say about that, so yeah, let's go on to the next one. Well, Ultra Persona, it is Astria, or as I'm going to be calling them, Asteria, of the Star Arcana. So yeah, two different names. Astria, sometimes used in game, I believe. I believe from my research, Asteria is a bit more accurate for this persona, so yeah, that's what I'm going to be naming. So yeah, Asteria is a name given to multiple characters in Greek mythology, with this one most likely being the Titan goddess of the stars, astrology, oracles, and prophetic dreams. The association with the stars is why she's part of the Star Arcana, and yeah, considering that, yeah, she's associated with oracles as well, that would tie into the fortune telling that Lala also likes. But anyway, much like Callisto, Zeus also designed Asteria, so to escape him, she transformed herself into a quali, a small bird. And yeah, this is also why the material item is a small bird as well, although it's an vortex apparently, according to the card. But anyway, so she transformed that small bird, but Zeus would chase after her as an eagle. With nowhere left to run, she flung herself into the Aegean Sea and drowned, but would later become the island of Delos, where Leto, Asteria's sister, would give birth to Artemis and Apollo. This story does tie into Lala's struggle in men again, but with Asteria managing to escape Zeus this time, it could show that Lala isn't going to make the same mistake she did before and forge her own path. The connection to Artemis and Apollo could show that Lala will always be there to support Maya and Tatsuya in their mission. So yeah, it's a very weird looking persona, but I do think that, yeah, mythology wise, she ties in quite well to Lala. So yeah. As for gameplay, she's kind of strange, to be honest. I guess for starters, her resistances aren't too bad. She is weak to Earth, as you probably expect from a wind user. But she does resist a couple of things, including light. She isn't actually immune to dark, interesting enough, so keep that in mind. But she does repel Nevermind, which is pretty cool. They're not bad. And then as for skills, yeah, she's very wind-based. She gets Garodine. As of her skill, there's Alluring Mizukra, I believe. That could charm. That's alright, I guess. Dream Needle is alright, I guess, but yeah, you're mainly using that for the sleep chance, I guess. Meat Patcher can be kinda nice if you are struggling against sleep. Especially considering that, yeah, she might be able to block a seat attack for you with her resistors. And then finally, there's of course the signature skill, Twinkle Nebula. This is the wind counterpart of Deadly Burn after he tied it as Anger. And for some reason, it's tied to one persona. So yeah. Or it's an ultra persona skill, I should be saying. Unlike the others that I mentioned, which, yeah, a lot of different personas get. But this does mean that, yeah, Asteria has a fusion spell unique to them in this game, Nightmare Storm, because those need the element, an All My skill, and then one of those 4 skills I mentioned. So, of course, in Nightmare Storm's case, that'd be a Garu skill, an All My skill, and then Twinkle Nebula. It's not a very good skill. It does insta-kill wind damage, so unless the enemies are weak to wind, it's not that amazing of a fusion spell, but hey. And it's kind of interesting that, yeah, as a consequence of this skill, Asteria gets a fusion skill of their own, so yeah. And finally, mutation skills the Kaja, which is kind of whatever. So yeah. Once again, you can definitely lean into support if you really want, by like giving her Medea Rahan, for example, Medea Rama. With me, Patra, I can definitely see that making a lot of sense, but yeah, if you do want to use her offensively though, there is always Megarodine, or even like Aquadine or something. I like Megarodine just because Twinkle Nebula, again, that's an insta-kill wind fusion spell, so if you actually want to do wind damage, then yeah, Megarodine is probably your best bet, so yeah. That is definitely something to consider, but hey, I wouldn't mind maybe going down the healing route just because, again, we can obviously have another persona do the wind from the Garadon, I should be saying, and then, yeah, she can obviously use Garadon on her own Water Nebula, so yeah. So everything about that. And again, it is definitely up to you, once again, depending on, yeah, what you want, how you want to, plan out your battles and stuff, especially against, like, bosses and stuff. I mean, that's quite important, so yeah. So again, that's Asteria again. Very weird ultra persona. Yeah, they talk about the I'm the Third Temple, me Patra cards. So yeah, that's pretty basic stuff. Especially considering they already come with the skills. So yeah. So yeah, that's that again. Fairly solid persona. All these personas obviously have very solid stats, so you can boost it even further with all cards and stuff if you so wish. So yeah. So again, yeah, very solid persona, like I keep saying. Fits the mythology quite well, despite the very weird looking design. But it does look very space-like, which I think does suit Star Connor at least, so yeah. There is that. But anyway. So with that done, let's talk about another Ultra Persona. His Ultra Persona is Hyperion of the Justice Arcana. He is one of the 12 Titan children of Gaia and Uranus, and is considered the Titan of Light. With his sister Thea, they fathered Helios, Selene, and Eos. He was described as a god of watchfulness and wisdom, to relate to the Justice Arcana, as the title could come from being honest and truthful, these being called these other Justice Arcana. Both Hyperion and Helios can be seen as both sun gods, with Hyperion being seen as just another name for Helios. As time passed, they became distinct entities. It's also claimed that Tatsuya would go from Helios to Helios' father in terms of his personal personas. He also fits Tatsuya as it ties into Tatsuya being the responsible in the party, as well as being a watchful father figure of sorts as well. The design is also quite fitting, as Hyperion wears very similar clothes to Apollo, but wears black to match Tatsuya's colors better, and this thing with these two having similar looking personas because they are siblings. And I think it looks really cool too. But anyway. So yeah, Hyperion is definitely an interesting persona for Tatsuya to use, especially in battle as well, because like Tatsuya, you can definitely physical attack, but you can also mix attack a little bit too, considering that skill set. But anyway, he starts off with Flare Shot. Actually, I guess before we talk about that, let's talk about the resistors. Again, the kind of what you expect. He's weak to ice and water, but he does not fire, move from light, as well as Nevermind. Resist dark, resist zero. So not too bad, but again, 2 weaknesses once again is not great, although yeah, they are the same weaknesses that Apollo has, so that's kind of interesting. But yeah, fitting for a fight, so though. But anyway, let's actually talk about the skills now. So we'll start off with Flare Shot. It's an alright physical skill to start with, although he does get a much better one later. And yeah, you can use it for illusion alongside Fata Morgana if you really want. Blind the enemy so that they're much less likely to hit you, obviously. After that, he actually gets Mirage Dine, so you can obviously use that for fusion spells, which is very good. And yeah, that's his best fire attack too. Then up that is triple down. This is mainly what you're going to be using if you're going solo with Hyperion, because yeah, triple down is one of the better gun attacks, at least single target wise. So not a bad choice, especially if you do invest into Tatsuya's strength like armoring and stuff. It could definitely do some decent damage, especially if you are hitting the weakness. Then yeah, you'll be seeing some pretty decent numbers. And then, yeah, he also gets Heat Kaiser, which is very useful for fusion spells. Once again, getting Nuclear Crush from this, maybe having, Tatsuya be the one at the back of the Nuclear Crush could be very, very nice. And last up is a very unique skill. I don't think it's that great, but I do like what it kind of represents, and that is Justice Shot. It has a kind of low chance to drop the enemy to 1 HP, so it's kind of like a bad insta-kill skill, but I do kind of find that quite interesting. Again, bits of Tatsuya being someone who wants to, uphold justice, taking people in rather than killing them, so that he can investigate them. It's really interesting. Again, like I said, though, it's kind of like Bane and Lethality in Radiant Dawn. If you're not putting the enemy to 1 HP, then yeah, they're basically dead anyway. I think the main use is probably so that you can end the battle with a fusion spell with this. If you're going solo with Tatsuya once again, but again, I'm not so sure. I feel like killing the enemy with like a triple down instead is probably more effective, so yeah. I think one unfortunate part about Hyperion is he doesn't get Myriad Arrows, which is one of the better gun skills considering that is multi-target, so yeah. Drill down is his best bet, unfortunately, but that's fine. And yeah, last up is Muhammad as a mutation skill, which again, it's fine, I guess, if you really want an insta-kill skill. There are definitely a lot of dark-based semis, but I'm not so sure if they're going to be weak to light. That's the only time I would use Muhammad, so yeah. And yeah, there's definitely better light skills to use. If the enemy can't be insta-killed, I will say as well, so there's that. Anyway, he's not the most amazing ultra persona in the world, but hey, I do find him quite interesting to use. I do like the fact that, yeah, he does have some pretty decent skills for mutation. And of course, considering that, yeah, he basically only learns offensive skills, that is kind of why I recommend giving him. Like, if you give him a Magnetyne, then yeah, he can also join in with Meltdowns that way as well, a bit easier. You can give him like an Almighty skill if you really want, you can give him Zeodyne if you really want. There's definitely a lot of options. He does already have the nuke skill, so I wouldn't go for Radyne, so just keep that in mind. Again, I just give him another coverage option. Whatever you feel like you need, basically. Again, I think the Magnetyne is probably the best, just because, again, can make getting those meltdowns a bit easier for you. It means that you can be a bit more versatile with that, so yeah, just keep that in mind. Anyway, I mean, that's mostly everything I want to say about Hyperion. Again, I do like this one for lore reasons. Again, very much fits Tatsuya in terms of both design and gameplay with that unique skill, but yeah, it's just an alright attacker for him. And again, that isn't a bad thing. Again, can definitely be a decent source of physical damage for Tatsuya as well, even if they're not like the best. But again, they're still solid. I would still keep them around. And yeah, last thing I'll mention is the Returner. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be Inferno card. It's this Flame card, which I assume is what Inferno card used to be called. That would give you Miraculous. We already have pretty good access to that, so I wouldn't really return for that personally, so yeah. Anyway, that's Hyperion again. Pretty solid persona for Tatsuya to use if you so wish. I definitely got I've definitely got a decent amount of use out of them. I thought they were a pretty interesting persona to use, so yeah. And of course, the ability to be used in a lot of fusion spells, I think, is definitely the main highlight here. Because again, having those Miracudynes and Heat Kaisers for that role is definitely quite nice. But anyway, with that done, let's talk about our last Ultra Persona for today. Our last Ultra Persona for today will be Balfu's Ultra Persona, Prometheus. But of course, we know his true identity now, Karusaka, which is why I decided to put it up. So, Prometheus. He is the Titan most well known for defying the Olympian gods by taking fire from them and giving it to humanity in the form of technology and knowledge. He relates to the Hangman Arcana, as it can be inferred that he sacrificed himself to give humanity fire, as Zeus would punish Prometheus for this act by binding him to a rock and having an eagle eat his liver every day as they grow back overnight. His eternal torment won't last forever as Heracles saved him during his 12 labors. He fits a Balfu as both are seen as very cunning and knowledgeable, with Prometheus gifting knowledge to humanity and being known as the god of forethought and crafty counsel. There are also parallels to the stories as well, with Prometheus taking fire back to get back at Zeus for banishing his brethren to Tartarus, and Balfu wanting to get back at Yungpao and Tatsuya. One interesting thing about the design of this persona are the red markings, which represent the fire Prometheus stole. But these red lines would inspire the design of the obelisk in SOT Nocturne. That's a dungeon where you fight the Mori sisters as bosses. But anyway, as a persona, I feel like he really leans into the support role. I feel like that's maybe because of the skills and also the resistance, actually. He actually resists all physical attacks, but isn't weak to all magic. And in fact, he only has one weakness to Zio, of all things. But yeah, he even knows light and dark and Nevermind. So he's a very durable persona. I feel like, yeah, leaning into that and making him more support based could be a very good idea. His skill set is actually kind of strange, to be honest. There's a lot of weird things going on. Zandime is nice for being an almighty skill, so you can obviously make use of that with Infusion skill. Magic Seal can mute if you're interested in that. Needle Rush, funny enough, his Slime persona also had that skill, so that's a bit strange. Makakaja though. Makakaja is very nice as a support skill as well. So yeah, definitely Prometheus can definitely be one of the better Makakaja users thanks to his very good resistance. So yeah. Then he gets Thunder Baptism, which is very strange considering he's weak to Zero, but obviously can be nice if you want a Thunder Crush user around. And yeah, it also means that yeah, he gets a Zero skill which he's weak to, but he doesn't actually get a Fire skill at all despite, being tied to that, but hey. Then of course there's his signature skill, Wiseman Snap. It's kind of similar to Triple Down, I guess, but it's just thrown element. It's single target and it has pretty decent power, so if you really want to do some physical damage with Balfu, I guess you could use it. Balfu is more of a physical attacker, so I can definitely see it being kind of decent. I guess one interesting quirk about Prometheus is that for the special fusion skill, he's actually needed first, I believe, for it. So Balfu's agility is actually kind of important in that regard, so just keep that in mind. But I would still probably go all card, considering that, yeah, he gets more bulk here, he does more damage overall, that's why I think it's much better to go for. Anyway, for some reason his mutation skill is also a bit random, it's Magnetyne. Not even a Magnetyne, just Magnetyne, so hey. That is another Earth skill, so if you really want that for, you know, Last Quake, I believe it's what it's called, then yeah, that could be kind of useful for that, so yeah. I mean, as for what skills you can give him, I do think that, yeah, I went with Miraculine in my first playthrough, but I'm thinking maybe I'll go more support based. Like maybe Medea Rama, maybe even Medea Rahan to be even more safe in that regard. You can give him another boss skill like Tarukaja, for example, as well. We do have half-full prayer access now, so we can obviously, buff up everything. Help buff up the whole team, I mean. So yeah, and of course, Prometheus can really help with that. And yeah, just, just like that. But if you do want to go offensively, again, I could recommend Miraculine just because, again, it is a fire skill. It's kind of thing for him, so yeah. You can go with other types. You can even go with Bufudine if you really want to, have both Ziyu and Bufu. But you can also go with Nuke as well if you really want as well. We do have a lot of Nuke users thanks to our Alpha personas, so yeah. But again, I am very interested in going the support route with Prometheus, so I'll definitely think about that. I don't think I'll use him right away, along with the rest of the Alpha personas. That'll give me time to think about what kind of skill I want to give him, so yeah. Anyway, he returns for apparently a Shockwave card, it says. I'm pretty sure that's probably a Wavelength card, so that'll give you Zundine. Again, another almighty skill if you really need that, so yeah. He's a very interesting Alpha persona. I do think I got a lot of use out of him because, again, his resistance are very solid, to be honest. And yeah, even though, of course, Bavo does have, Hastor as another good wall he could use, Hastor doesn't really have the skill set for it. He's actually very offensive, to be honest. So having Prometheus, being able to, support the team in market charges, for example, maybe giving him a healing skill to help with that as well. There's definitely a lot of potential I could see with Prometheus in boss fights, supporting the team and stuff, especially because, yeah, Bafu isn't the best damage dealer in the world, so it's not a bad role for him to do in boss fights, so yeah. And if because and of course, yeah. I do really like the Dark community too, because Dark is something that's very nice to null with some of the final battles in the game, I will say. So yeah. So again, yeah, I really like Prometheus. He's a very, very solid auto persona. I could definitely recommend, building him towards support. That definitely sounds like a very productive way of using him. So yeah. Anyway, that is all the auto personas for now. So yeah. Then this part, I have a little bonus at the end. I'm going to be showing what Tatsuya is going to help us be able to use in the future. So that, yeah, we now can see most of the personas available. So I thought it'd be interesting to show what personas I'm thinking of in future parts. Again, we're not doing the best on free cards at the moment, so I'll need to think about that. But again, we'll see how it goes. Of course, it can obviously work towards some other things, like getting Heat Kaiser on Apollo, for example. Say whatever about that. But anyway, so yeah, that's good. I mean, that's good for now. So yeah, let's show off the bonus part, and yeah, let's end this part where we talked about all those auto personas. As a bonus for this part, let's show off what personas are now available thanks to Tatsuya being so high leveled for us. So you can definitely think about making Isis soon because yeah, she repels all magic, so yeah, she's gonna be very useful for Maya. Rangda's very cool, but yeah, we need to get her card first, but we'll definitely think about her. For Priestess, Skahar is kind of important because we can do a Fusion Smoke Coolant at some point. Lakshmi is also pretty decent as well. But we need to get Iron first, I believe it's in the casino. Then yeah, we can make Kali thanks to casino as well, I believe. And yeah, she is also quite interesting because yeah, she gets Heat Kaiser. Definitely a pretty useful skill to have, and then there's Gaia later on. Then for Emperor, yeah, we can get Odin very soon actually, and yeah, he'll be a very nice person to think about as well. Vishnu as well, obviously, will be pretty decent when we're high leveled, but we need to return Lakshmi. Here's something kind of interesting. So at Hierophant, we can now make Varuna. Later on, we can also make Brahma once we get his item as well. Brahma looks very different in this game. He repels on magic, which is kind of nice. But there's also Yamaoka, who no one could use, so I don't know what that's about. Anyway, Alice can't do much with either. Honestly, she will be very cool, but you need to get his item first. Here's an interesting one, Wonglong. Wonglong is actually Koryu, I believe. He's actually pretty solid, so yeah. And in this game, yeah, he doesn't need, because of how this game works, basically, he doesn't need the other legendary beast to be fused. But anyway, for Hermit, is a new persona, Distria. Just a simple water user. Akri Taisha mentioned this is actually 100 power. It's pretty strong. It's like this tier skill. It's basically like this is the best you're gonna get outside of using a fusion spell. Basically, they're quite nice. Then yeah, Fortune's kind of important. There's actually quite a few things here that we haven't seen yet. Like the Fate Sisters, they have a fusion spell, so we need to think about that. Fenrir, he has Deadly Burn, which yeah, that's like Akari Tide. But then there's also this persona here, Gyukuko Jutai. We'll definitely think about him later. He has a lot of very useful things, so yeah. Then for Justice, we can make Bisham on 10. Once he gets item, and of course there's Hyperion, Wedgie and Wings, so yeah. Hangman's kind of interesting because of course we have Prometheus. Dramalek is kind of interesting because yeah, he gets Dark Verdict. I think I need Dark Verdict facts, so yeah, I might want to fuse him. Of course Prometheus, but then there's also Azazel. And Azazel, he's very good, but we can't actually get him for a while, so that's unfortunate. You might notice that Death doesn't like have any personas There is a persona that's higher level than Charon, but we need a mutation to get it actually. It's kind of weird. Some personas are a lot behind mutations, and then once you get the mutation, they're able to be fused normally. So yeah, again, it's kind of weird, but it is what it is. Zaku would be nice because it can be. Naturally, beast ones are kind of very good, and also this one gets hieroglyphin, which is very nice. Of course, there's Beelzebub here, who can now get. Beelzebub is pretty strong to me, especially if the enemy isn't immune to that because of Chaos Element. There's also Lucifer, but yeah, we aren't actually having a lot of Lucifer yet. The tower, of course, Hostel. You want to think about Hostel. Not only is he just quite decent because he repels all magic, he has a decent selection of skills. Basically, has every dark skill you could ever want, basically, which is kind of funny, as well as Akri Tide. So yeah, but he does serve another purpose, so we're definitely going to be thinking about that by any top cards, as you can see. Never start as Lobsters. We can make Valkyrie if I really want. Of course, Hysteria. Hysteria, actually. I don't know why I mispronounced it. Hanuman. Hanuman's also pretty decent as a wind user, although we do have this. And then finally, Feridone. Feridone actually serves a purpose later, so you definitely don't want to forget about them. And then, yeah, for Moon, of course, we saw Armless earlier, but we can also make Nana, and Nana is extremely good. Because, yeah, she gets Maragadine, Malakadine, Magaradine, Magadine, and even Medeiran. So, yeah, we definitely want to get her, but maybe soon. For Sun, it's basically just Virochana. He's going to be very good once you ever get him. For Judgment, there's quite a few weird things here, like Amritat. Does get Makakaja and Samakaja, but I prefer using Tsukuyomi. Gabriel, no one could use, and Satan. I don't know if you can actually get Satan, because yeah. The item he needs, the item that Satan needs, yeah, I think it might be right exclusive, along with Lucifer's item, but we'll see about that. But anyway, yeah, Mukalinda, he's not bad. To be honest, Malakotai is not bad, so is Mickey Dola. Sari, you definitely want to get 2. Again, Legendary Beasts are very nice. And then there's also Ouroboros. He can be a decent thing to pick up because he does get Hieroglyphin and he does get Frenzy. And yeah, you want to take note of that they easy to punch and Havoc. So yeah. And yeah, Fool hasn't changed. But yeah, we might want to consider returning Topikato. So yeah. So you can get Full Makutaru's items so that we can fuse him later because yeah, he might be nice to have around as well. He's mostly a physical attacker, so yeah, he'll do alright, I guess. Anyway, I mean that's gonna be it. So yeah, a lot of cool personas that we can start thinking about now. Again, I don't know if I want to fuse right away because our issue is that yeah, I don't think I have that many free cards, but let's double check that. I have 169. That's not too bad, especially considering that yeah, we do have a lot of, just random cards here and there. Problem is, I can't really make hostile with that because we need more tower cards, so yeah. So we're just gonna have to, kind of wait and see. That's okay. I'll go see the other mature cards. Again, you can fuse the ultimate snap, but I think I'll wait a little bit. Especially since some of them want to get skill cards for, so I need to think about that as well, so yeah. Because I want them to be a bit more specialized in this playthrough compared to my last, so yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think that's everything I want to show with the personas right there. Yeah, there's still quite a lot of personas that we can definitely think about using. So yeah, and yeah, Tatsuya being around means that we can basically get whoever we want. So yeah, I'll have everything about that. Anyway, so yeah, next time we are going to be going back to the area shelter. Maybe fusing a little bit before then, but yeah, I think the idea is we're gonna get more free cards out there, as well as get the Rumor Demon and the Rare Ram card out of the way as well. So yeah, we're gonna be a bit busy in the next spot, so it seems. So yeah, look forward to that, and I'll see you guys again for that.